And you kept on talking about style that you want. What is this style?
I coached the national team from in the 2007 qualifiers, and what I learned was that there's no way we're going to be able to match up with the size of China, Iran, Jordan, and even Korea and Japan. We cannot match up with their size. So the way to compete internationally is with a style of play that's going to be difficult for them. And that's basically using our speed and our individual qualities. Um, so it doesn't mean that if you use, there is a myth that if you play to your individual strengths and qualities, it's going to be a one-on-one, kanya-kanya, non-team basketball game. But if you watch the Talk and Text team, that's basically how we play. We're the shortest, one of the shortest teams in the league. We don't have the big guys that the other teams have. So that's exactly how we're playing. We're playing to our strengths, quickness, speed, one-on-one abilities. And at the face of it, you'd think that it's in fact, a lot of coaches have called our system a no system because we just come out and they say you know, Talk and Text, they just rely on the qualities and the talents of the players. It's all one-on-one basketball. There's no system. And I love it when people say that, which means they don't see the secret. They don't see what's underneath that. You know, the kind of discipline, the rules, the teamwork really required to play the kind of game that we play. Because we're not the traditional basketball team. We come down, we call play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900, you know, play 552, up, down, side, you know. We don't play it that way. That's not the kind of game we play. For me, we come down and we play. We don't, our system, my system doesn't teach our players plays. We teach them how to play. Because set plays can be scouted, set plays can be stopped. The other team will scout you and they'll know. Every player, every team in the league will know, you know, when they call play 2, this is what's going to happen. When they call play 4, this is what's going to happen. On the other teams, we can't do that. Why? They have the different language. They speak in Chinese. They speak in Japanese. They'll speak in Iran, in their Iranian language. We have no idea what's going on. But us, no, we play. Even if we do whatever, they'll pick us apart. So we come down and we're teaching the players to react to situations. The number one thing in our system is we attack. We're attacking all the time. We put the defense on their heels, and then we then react to the situations. But we want to initiate, we want to attack, but there's a lot of discipline involved in that set. So that's the kind of play. I don't want to be too technical about it, but I will say that our attack, our offense is really based on the dribble, drive, motion offense that, you know, that's been talked about for quite so many years now. But what I will say is that just last couple of weeks back in Las Vegas watching the NBA Summer League, Coach Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat sought out and had a long meeting with Vance Wahlberg, who is the founder of the dribble drive offense.
Nice.
So, because if you look at the Miami Heat team, they also don't have a big low post player. Chris Bosh is tall, but he's not really an inside player. They have LeBron James playing the power forward. So what they do is they attack. They break their men down. They use the talents of their players. But within that, there's a lot of teamwork involved, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of, you know, a lot of discipline involved. And that's how Talk and Text has been playing the past 2 years. For those who've been watching, that's how we've been playing.
Well, it seems there's a specific type of player in Smart Gilas also that you guys choose of the cadet pool who has shown a lot of potential.
By cadet, you mean those who are in college or not in the PBA. We really like Garvo Lanete. You know, his combination of shooting skill, he's got a great body, he's strong, he plays defense. And most importantly, he understands the game. That's very important. We really like Garvo Lanete. We love Bobby Ray Parks. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to accept being part of the cadet pool for whatever his reasons are. But Garvo Lanete stands out, and Kiefer Ravena, we're excited to get him in. Of course, Greg Slaughter, there's looking around, there's one 7-footer in the entire Philippines. So we're excited to have a guy like Greg, and we've been working with Greg for a long time already with the Smart Gilas team. So yeah, we're very excited. I'm very intrigued about the possibilities of a Calvin Abueva, for example. So there's a lot of really good talent in our cadet pool. So we're pretty excited to see where these guys take us. But I don't think they're going to be ready for 2013. It's too soon for them. I mean, they're in college now. Next year, we can't make them go up against all the, against Yi Jianlian of China, Wang Xiji, and Ahmad Adadi. These are all NBA players, so it's unfair for our college players to go up against them right away. But I think after this group, in the very near future, that this cadet team is going to be tough.
Great. Well, a lot of our Twitter questions were actually related to Smart Gilas, which shows the interest in it, right? So let's move on to their questions. The first one is from @AA McDreamy, and he wants to know, will JaVale McGee join Team Pilipinas together with Marcus Douthit?
Is that the McDreamy of Grey's Anatomy?
Maybe he knows who we are.
Well, we cannot have them both because FIBA rules allows you only one naturalized player. So what we have, our plan was we have Marcus Douthit as our present naturalized player, but then JaVale McGee is going to come in as, he's 24 years, 25, so he's the future really to take Marcus Douthit's place, who's now 32. We've filed the bill in Congress, we've gotten his agreement, JaVale wants to do it. Unfortunately, there was a slight development. He just signed a $45 million deal with the Denver Nuggets. He got traded. We were okay with the Washington Wizards, and then he got traded with the Denver Nuggets. So, there's not going to be, I'm not going to say an issue with JaVale coming to play for us. The problem is, if you're going to have all of the NBA players who are playing for national teams, they're obviously covered insurance, because if something happens, then the problem is you're going to cover a $45 million contract. So,
right.
I really don't know. We're trying to find out. Hopefully, we could find a creative way. It's not that JaVale doesn't want to do it, but obviously he has to be insured. Yeah, he has to be. There has to be protection for him. So we really don't know at this point. I'm not saying it's a dead issue. I'm not saying it's dead in the water, but I've always been upfront with all the negotiations, and that's a challenge that we're facing now. But we already have Marcus Douthit, and we're already looking for other younger, big American players whom we can naturalize in the future.
Okay. This next one is from, I actually can't read the username, but he's actually sent several questions. It's from MMR Ching 22. Okay. And he wants to know, what is the problem with SMC players or SMC mother teams? Will you accept the SMC players if they signed the waiver after the season for Gilas?
Well, the national team is always open to the players that we've invited. So, that opportunity is always going to be there for them. However, we have to balance it against the efforts already expended by the others. I mean, if some guy we've got guys here who are with the program from the start, practicing extra, going and playing, competing with us, getting to know each other, and then it's not easy to throw that away because an SMC player says, well, now I want to play. It's not that simple. So my answer to that question is the door is open to them, but it is not a guarantee that if they say, well, now, okay, I'm going to sign the commitment letter, I'll say, yeah, thank you, but it's not a sure thing. You'll be part of the pool just like anyone else. And obviously, those who started with the program will have an edge. And that's just being fair.
It's really quite an interesting situation, right? Because MVP and Ramon Ang do business together. So what is the stumbling block for the release of these players?
That's a very good question, and I really don't know. They haven't gone out in the open saying that they're preventing their players. So we really don't know if that maybe the players don't want. I'll tell you this, of the 5 players they have who have said no to us, 3 had verbally said yes to me personally in a one-on-one conversation. However, when it came time to sign the commitment letters, they didn't sign it. So
And what's the explanation?
I'll just leave it at that. No explanation.
And you can't ask, you can't push. Is it
Well,
what it is?
well, before I couldn't because I was a head coach in the PBA, and it's tampering. You cannot talk to players of other teams. So, but now that I'm no longer head coach, maybe I can ask the question. Maybe I can tell you a week or so from now. But I really don't know, and that's God's honest truth. They didn't sign the commitment letter, and they didn't give any reason. So we're not gonna when they didn't sign it, then we have to go look for replacements because we're not gonna sit back and just wait and wait and wait. See, so that's exactly what happened. I'm not making any judgment on their management nor on the players, because even in the NBA, there were some players who did sign the commitment letter to be when they were invited to the national team. So USA Basketball just went to the next guys and just picked other guys.
Is the team any weaker that you've lost these SMC players?
There's 1 or 2 who I really think could have a very, very big chance to make the team and obviously strengthen the team. But like I said, the depth of talent in the PBA is such that if there's a difference, very slight, and I'm sure we can make up for it in other ways. I mean, here is a really, really good player who didn't sign the letter of commitment, and here's another good player, maybe not as good as him, but then he signed and he's professed his enthusiasm and dedication. He's gonna get to this level as against this guy. So whatever ex-player lacked in actual skill, he will make up for it in his dedication and his desire. And in the end, I think he will be better for the program. He may not be a better player, but I think he will be better for the program than the other player. And that's just the way I see it.
Which SMC players do you want? 1 or 2? 1 or 2?
No,
What you said. You said 1 or 2 players that...
I think Mark Pingers would be phenomenal in our system. The reason is Mark Pingers can guard anyone. He can guard a point guard, he can guard a big guy, he can guard a shooter, he can guard anyone. And I've always been a Mark Pingers fan. And he'd be fantastic for the national team. And I think he'd love to be part of the national. He hasn't been there yet. I mean, I think he'd love to be part of it. So
Next question.
maybe you should ask him next.
I should call him for the next episode. Next one is from @Faura Reigns, and this is a more general question. What is the current state of sports in the Philippines? Your opinion.
In my opinion, it's really in a very sad, sorry state. I mean, I think we have the talent, we have the wherewithal to do much better than we are currently doing, than where we are. And that's why we have taken upon it the MVP Sports Foundation as a private entity to come in and help Philippine sports, help 8 sports, because it really needs a lot of help. And I'm just speaking my mind here. Philippine sports is really in a not so very good state.
In such a waste. It really is.